Turning 25 wasn't supposed to feel heavy. It was meant to be simple. A small celebration, close people, nothing overly dramatic. Just a night that felt like mine. For once. No tension, no comparisons, no underlying competition disguised as family bonding. At least, that's what I thought. The venue was already set when I arrived. Soft lighting, warm tones, everything arranged in a way that felt calm instead of overwhelming. The kind of setup that doesn't try too hard, but still feels intentional. My fiancé had insisted on handling most of it, saying I deserved to just show up and enjoy the night without worrying about anything. That alone should have told me something. He doesn't usually leave things to chance. Guests were already there, conversations flowing easily, people greeting me with smiles that felt genuine enough to accept without questioning. For a while, it actually worked. The evening felt normal, light, almost exactly what I had hoped for, until they arrived. My sister walked in like she always did, loud enough to be noticed, confident enough to take space without asking for it. Her daughter followed close behind, already moving around like the room was built for her entertainment. I noticed the shift immediately. Not in the room, in myself. Because some dynamics don't need time to reintroduce themselves. They just return. "Wow, you actually did something nice for once," my sister said, looking around with a half smile that wasn't really a compliment. "I'm impressed." I smiled back, not because it was funny, but because responding differently would have turned it into something else. "Thanks for coming," I said. Her daughter didn't say anything. She was already distracted, moving from table to table, touching things she shouldn't, picking up decorations, testing boundaries the way children do when no one teaches them where they are. And no one did. "Just let her have fun," my sister added casually when she noticed me watching. "She's a kid." Of course. She always was. No matter what she did. The evening continued, conversations rising and falling, music settling into the background, everything moving toward the moment everyone was waiting for. The cake. It wasn't just a cake, but no one else knew that. It was placed at the center table, simple on the outside, elegant without being excessive. Exactly how I wanted it. Or at least, exactly how I thought I wanted it. Because the real detail was hidden. My fiancé stood near me, calm, composed, but I could see it. The quiet anticipation in the way he kept glancing toward the cake. Not nervous. Not unsure. Just waiting for the right moment. Because he had planned something. Something I didn't fully know yet. "Ready?" he asked softly. I nodded. Not because I knew what was coming, but because I trusted him. People gathered closer, phones came out, attention shifted, the room naturally pulling toward the center the way it always does when something important is about to happen. And that's when it happened. Fast. Uncontrolled. Unnecessary. My niece ran forward before anyone could react, her movement sudden, careless, fueled by the kind of excitement that doesn't understand consequences. Her hand hit the table first, then the edge of the cake, and in a single second, everything collapsed. The cake tilted, slid, and fell. The sound wasn't loud, but it was enough, because silence followed immediately after. Cream and layers spread across the floor, decorations destroyed, the center completely broken apart before anyone even had time to process what they were seeing. For a moment, no one moved. No one spoke. Then my sister laughed. Not loudly. Not uncontrollably. Just enough. "Oh my God," she said, shaking her head like it was mildly inconvenient at worst. "She's just a kid." I didn't say anything. I just looked at the mess. Because something about that moment felt wrong in a way I couldn't explain yet. "It's just a cake," she added, still smiling slightly. "Don't make a big deal out of it. Just a cake." The words settled into the room like permission. Permission to move on. Permission to ignore it. Permission to pretend nothing important had just been ruined. My fiancé didn't move either. That's when I noticed. He wasn't looking at the mess. He was looking at my sister. And for the first time that night, his expression wasn't calm anymore. The silence after her laugh didn't feel normal. It felt delayed, like something hadn't caught up yet. People started moving again, slowly at first. A few guests stepped forward, unsure whether to help or stay back, the kind of hesitation that happens when no one wants to make the wrong move. Staff appeared quickly, professional and composed, already preparing to clean up what everyone else was still trying to process. And my sister? She had already moved on. "Seriously, relax," she said, glancing at me like I was the one creating tension. "We'll just cut something else. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal." I still didn't respond. Not because I didn't have something to say, but because I was waiting. Not for the room. For him. My fiancé stepped forward slowly, his movements controlled, deliberate. He didn't rush, didn't raise his voice, didn't try to correct anyone immediately. He just looked at the mess for a second, then back at my sister. "You're right," he said calmly. "It's not a big deal." Her smile returned instantly. Relief. Validation. See? She had been right. "It's just a cake," she added, almost laughing again. He nodded once. "Yes," he said. On the outside. That was the moment everything shifted. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just enough. "What do you mean?" she asked, her tone still light, but slightly slower now. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone, unlocking it without breaking eye contact. A few taps. Then he turned the screen toward her. "It was custom-made," he said. "Designed specifically for tonight." She glanced at the screen briefly, unimpressed. "So?" she shrugged. "Then I'll pay for the cake. Happy?" He didn't react to that. Inside it, he continued, his voice still calm, still even, was a custom engagement ring. The room didn't go silent this time. It stopped. Completely. Because now, everyone understood. Not all at once, but enough. "What?" she said, the word coming out sharper than she intended. "A custom piece," he repeated. 15,000. The number didn't land immediately, but when it did, it stayed. "That's not funny," she said quickly, her tone shifting, her confidence slipping just enough to notice. "I'm not joking," he replied. Her eyes moved from him, to the floor, to the mess, to the pieces of something that had already been cleared, already been moved, already been partially taken away by staff who had no idea what they were handling. "No," she said, shaking her head slightly. "No, that's not possible." I finally spoke. It was meant to be a surprise, I said quietly. Not emotional, not dramatic, just true. Her daughter stood nearby, confused, unaware, still holding onto the same energy she had before, not understanding that the moment had changed completely. "You should have said something," my sister snapped, but now it wasn't controlled anymore. How was I supposed to know? My fiancé didn't respond to that, because the answer was obvious. You weren't. That's what made it a surprise. "Where is it?" she asked quickly, looking around, her voice rising slightly. "It has to be there. They just cleaned it up, right? It can't be gone." One of the staff members stepped forward carefully. "Everything from the floor was disposed of immediately," he said, professional, calm, unaware of the weight of what he was confirming. "Standard procedure. Disposed." The word hit harder than anything else. "Disposed where?" she asked. "Compactor unit," he replied. And just like that, there was nothing left to look for. Her face changed. Not slowly, not subtly, completely. Because now, for the first time, she understood. It wasn't just a cake. It wasn't something that could be laughed off. It wasn't something that could be ignored. It was gone. And it wasn't small. I'm not paying $15,000, she said quickly, almost instinctively, like saying it out loud would make it less real. My fiancé nodded once. I understand, he said. That surprised her, because she expected resistance, argument, pressure. But instead, he reached into his jacket and pulled out a single document, neatly prepared, already printed. He placed it in front of her. Then you can review this, he said. She looked down, hands still, expression frozen, because it wasn't just a number. It was a bill, formal, structured, clear. Her name, her responsibility, her consequence. You're serious, she whispered. Yes, he replied. Silence followed again. But this time, it wasn't confusion. It was realization. Because now the situation wasn't about opinion, or perspective, or who was right. It was about value, real value. And for the first time that night, she didn't have control of it. She thought it was flour and sugar. A small mistake. Something temporary. Something easy to dismiss. But what she actually dismissed was something far more valuable. And now, it wasn't a joke anymore.